Here I've got the Grimace notebook from McDonald's ready to present my case to the world. And what today I'm talking about is the problem I see with a lot of modern leftists in America. And it boils down to one very, very simple key thing, which is that many of the leftists that I see are not opportunists. And it's complex when you're talking about leftism. Because if you adhere to Marxist ideology, it dictates that we should all be actively seeking out means to expand our chances of revolution, our basis of the proletariat. Um, I was talking on this TikTok live with the Withers guy, right? And he was very quick to dismiss it as accelerationism when I said there was merit to the MAGA movement because of its, well, what I was trying to say. I was not the greatest at conveying my message, to be honest. I was having a hard time. I was smiling and laughing. But um, when it comes to opportunism and the difference between being an opportunistic leftist and an accelerationist, is that the accelerationist perspective here is to say, well, the MAGA movement has merit because it speeds up capitalism and it highlights very well, the flaws of the capitalist system, and that's going to radicalize the people we want to radicalize. But I'm not an accelerationist, and I call myself an opportunistic leftist because when you take the MAGA movement and rather than letting it passively radicalize the people, Marx teaches that you should seek out actively radicalizing the people and actively realizing the proletariat. And I think a good way to think about this is if there is no revolution or basis of people or organized movement to gather people to, how can we expect modern day leftists to ever actually create political movement when there isn't a strong organization? And what I see a lot of these modern day leftists on social media doing is, it's the small things. When all the Epstein files came out, they were all like putting out these summaries and putting out, here's what's important to know, rather than taking this and say, hey, look what these people are doing to the rest of society. Look what these people are doing to us. And saying, go look at that and see for yourself. Go read Marx, go do this. That's opportunistic communism. That's not leftism. That's opportunistic, or not accelerationism. That's opportunistic leftism. And that's what I'm a proponent of. Because in accelerationism, it's kind of this, you want the bad things to happen um, to unfold a different kind of society. What I'm advocating for is instead of doing that, we take what's bad, we take what we have. We're supposed to be practical people as leftists. I mean, dialectical materialism dictates that there's a logical structure to things, but it does not deny the fact that you can have an influence on those logical structures. And having that influence is what we as leftists should be doing in order to really achieve our goals. So, next time, these big world shaking events come out, and it's so easy in today's landscape to see all the media coming flush at you and lose track of, the big things that are going on. As time goes on, I see less and less people talking about, you know, the the Epstein files and all of the evidence we have that these elites, all of them, not good people. And a lot of leftists today will just sit there and be like, you know, just kind of sit on their high horse and preach from this standpoint of never actually encouraging people to go out and do communism and to go out and organize. And I think that's a very flawed approach. And so I guess what I'm trying to get at is that the modern day leftists, if you truly want to advocate for this ideology and truly want to manifest it, um, every time you have the opportunity, instead of having like people come on your show and debate and talk about being MAGA, rather than just trying to like, oh, change their minds, try and expose them to the truth of the world where we live in a system where we're constantly being extorted and pressured and manipulated by the bourgeois class, and focus on, taking that and then not only turning it into a change in belief, but a change in practice. And that's why there's merit to the MAGA movement, because it provides leftists an excellent opportunity to really go out and say, look, this is the hard proof. This is the hard proof of what's happening, and it is happening. And then they can take that and say, now that you know this, what are we as a collective, we as the left, what are we going to do about it? And that organization should come in ways of like doing action, going out, going on the streets and showing the world that like we're still not okay with this. You can't sweep all of this under the rug and just move on and keep propagating all this nonsense through the internet that distracts us from the true problem, which is class struggle. As Marx says, he says, the history of the modern world is one of class struggle. And that's the predominant fixation of the times. And so rather than focusing on the byproducts of the capitalist system, we should use that as evidence and stop trying to, undo the things that are going on and start using that to create new movements towards the progress we actually want to see. Um, so yeah, from the Grimmest Notebook, that's probably my take on modern leftism. I think they need to be um, advocates of actually practically taking steps towards the ideology they preach. And it's hard sometimes, I'm not always the greatest at it. I try my best. I'm going to keep trying my best, but it's not enough to just sit there and say, oh, well, at least these people aren't MAGA anymore. You have to really expose them and use this excellent opportunity we have at a time period where corruption is more visible than anything else, where everyone has the technology in their hands to be exposed to these facts, rather than, just showing the facts and being like, you know, we internet leftists, like, we're doing our best, we're on the TikTok lives. You need to be actively focused on the information that is pertinent to class war in order to truly advocate for Marxism in America. And I suppose this might be incredibly long-winded. I'm honestly not going to watch it. This might also be completely nonsensical. I'm not going to watch it. I'm just going to post it. And then, yeah, I think that's my take on the modern leftists and what my key problem with them is.